Hi, welcome to my channel. I'm Maeve and I'm very excited to be showing this particular build to you today. It is one of my favorite renovations that I've done so far. I actually don't remember how many bedrooms were in this. I should have watched the video before I started recording voiceover. I think it was just two. I think it was just 2 bedrooms in the upstairs and 0 bedrooms on the downstairs. So as we come into this, you see right now I'm kind of like deleting things and cleaning stuff up, like getting rid of the trash and things like that. I'm eventually going to end up knocking down some walls, but I just really loved this build to start with. This is like exactly the type of build that I get excited about because like there are certain features inherent into the build that like I'm just so in love with, and I could tell that the person who put this one together, like they put so much thought into it. So we have like this beautiful skylight in the dining room area and like these archways. I loved the archways so much. There was actually a point in this renovation where I started to get stuck and I was like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do here? And I asked for advice in one of my Sims build groups, and a whole lot of people were like, well, why don't you just like get rid of that wall and those arches and then your problems would be solved? And I was like, no, you don't understand. I have to keep these arches. Like, this is one of the things that inspired me about this build and like made me want to renovate it, so I have to keep those. So the dining room and the archways and the skylight like were just my absolute favorite part of this build, but also like the storyline that they put into it, and like the child's room here that you're looking at now was so cool that like you know, they kind of made it sort of a murder mystery. And so y'all know I don't like creepy things. Here you can see I'm like knocking some walls out, by the way, and like really opening up the floor plan a lot. But see those archways, I left them because I loved them so much. But anyway, y'all know I don't like creepy things, but I just really appreciated just like the thought and the attention to detail that went into this original build, and that made me so excited about renovating it. I also really love the layout. Like obviously I did like knock out most of the walls on the first floor, but just like the shape of the house was really nice. It was kind of like I don't know, like realistic to me, and I like the big open porch in the front, and I don't know, I just really loved this build. I think this was another one yet again that like didn't have the back porch on it already added, and I apologize if you overhear some noise in the background. It sounds like my husband is like taking out the trash and like opening the new bag to put in the trash can. But anyway, I'll try and ignore that so I can keep talking. But like, so what you're seeing me do right now, and it's probably going to be off the screen by the time I finish talking about it, but as I'm going through and deleting like the trash and stuff, a lot of times I'll pick things up out of the build and I'm like, well, maybe I'll incorporate this into the decor later on. And so like I put it in my Sims family inventory, and then I just like keep deleting things. And then eventually I come back to like everything that I deleted out of there, or not deleted, but everything I put in that inventory, and then I start deleting things out of there, like, okay, maybe I don't want to keep this after all. So that's what I was doing just a second ago, and now you're seeing me replace the wallpaper, like replace the stairs, and I kind of like, as soon as I was done sort of cleaning things up, I immediately knew that I wanted to go in the direction of like contemporary farmhouse. And this is something that like I almost talked about in my last video, but I stopped myself and I was like, no, I'm going to talk about this in the next one. But what I was going to bring up is that like recently I've been doing a lot of learning about like interior design and design trends, especially like where design trends have been lately and where they're going in the near future. And like what brought me into like that type of research is that in the past like couple of years, I've gotten really interested in fashion. And one thing that has been really interesting to me is how like it's kind of the turn of a new decade right now. Well, I mean, not really, because we're in the second half of 2022 now. So like we're almost in the third year of the decade. But something that's been really interesting to me is that I see like older styles going out, but I'm not really sure yet of like what the new styles are gonna be. And so like I do sort of see things going in kind of like, and this is fashion, I'm totally not talking about interior design right now, but I see things going in sort of like a very like natural girl, sort of like 1970s sort of way, but like also natural girl 1990s sort of way in addition to that. So like I'm seeing like late 60s, early 70s sort of, but like also late 80s, early 90s. And that is kind of in keeping with the way that fashion does tend to be kind of like cyclical, right? I guess like, you know, fashion, architecture, interior design, and really like just design in general does tend to go in these cycles where like and it's all related to like what's going on in the art world as well, that like things are constantly in flux and they're constantly changing, but like if something's changing in the fashion world, it's probably changing in the architectural world as well, and also like the design world, and just like everything, because the way that we design things and the way that we make art and the way that we dress, like it all is reflective of sort of like the philosophy or the ideology of our time, and that changes with like the passing of generations. And so like, you know, now the previous generations are getting older, my generation is getting older, and like now the newer generations are kind of like coming of age and they're making their own design choices. And we're kind of seeing how like contemporary farmhouse, I've heard, is like starting to go out of style. And just when I like barely learned what it was, because I've like never, I guess like I've always been into interior design on some kind of like casual level, but I've never been like educated about it. And so like now that I'm finally like learning about it and learning what's actually in style now, as opposed to just like doing whatever speaks to me or whatever I like, now that I'm like starting to see that it's going out of style. And this is my first like contemporary farmhouse build, but it's also probably going to be my last. And it's like, it's funny because contemporary farmhouse has never been anything that I was really into. And I know I've like spoken before about how I grew up in Texas. And I think just like the whole farmhouse aesthetic, or like anything country, for me personally feels really, really overplayed because I grew up in Texas. And not only that, but like I grew up in Texas being bullied by people who listened to country music. And so like that's just something that I'm really, really not into. But I have noticed, you know, that like everyone has been into this contemporary farmhouse thing, and I've never done a build like that, and I was wanting to branch out. And as I was kind of like deleting stuff out of this build, I just like got inspired to go in that direction, especially once I started playing with the wallpaper colors, and I saw that like I really liked the color white as a wallpaper color in here. And then I was like, well, I want to do wood tones, but I don't want to do like yellowy wood tones, and I also don't want to do like dark wood tones because that makes it look old, and this is a renovation. And so I was like, well, let me do like this whitewashed wood. And so when I put like the white walls with the whitewashed wood, and like then I have, you know, these stairs that are there and the fireplace that is there, and then it just like, and also like the type of windows that are from what is the Pets? No, Seasons. Is that from Seasons or Pets? They're from Brindleton Bay, which is Pets. So anyway, I saw the windows with the white walls and the whitewashed wood, and I was just like, this is screaming contemporary farmhouse to me, and that's not really my thing. But let me just go with it and see how it goes. And so that is exactly what I did. And I just like ended up enjoying this build so much more than I thought I would. And I feel like now I totally get like the whole contemporary farmhouse thing. And like I said, like just in time for it to go out of style. So, yeah, so like you can see here where, we have like that bathroom in the bottom left corner, and then like the archways are coming up from there. And so like that whole corner was the area that I was struggling with. And I was like, what am I going to put in this space that's not going to close off this archway? But like fills up the space enough so that it doesn't look empty. Like I was really at a loss for what to put there. And I tried a whole bunch of things. I don't remember how many of those ideas I actually kept in the video. But like this area originally was the dining room. I ended up turning it into like a craft space. So this would be the area where like your artsy crafty sim would come to like paint basically. And there's like also the candle making station. I didn't realize until after I put the candle making station in there that apparently you can only make candles after your sim has done some dumpster diving. That is really weird to me. Like, why can't Sims just go to the craft store and like get wax? It's so weird. Like, I mean, I know the reason is because like the candle making station came with the eco lifestyle pack, right? And like eco lifestyle is all about crafting things out of like another man's trash. One man's trash is another man's treasure, like that type of thing. So I get it. But at the same time, it's just really weird. You have to go dumpster diving specifically, and like you can't get those materials anywhere else. I wonder if there's a mod for that. Maybe you can let me know in the comments section. But here you can see what I ended up doing with this little wall space here is I turned it into a little reading nook. It does kind of stick out into the archway a little bit, but not a whole lot further than the candle making station already did on the other side. So I was just like, well, there's the other two archways. It's not like they can't walk in there. Like there's plenty of space, so it's fine. And I also think the little reading nook is really cute. Like I have no regrets about really anything that I did in this build. Like I ended up loving this so much. So you also have the piano there. So this is really like a great place for your creative Sims because they can paint, they can do knitting, they can do their candle making, they can play the piano. Like there's so many great things for your Sims to do in here if they're creative. So I like that's really great. The kitchen, I thought the kitchen was really cute. I honestly wouldn't mind having a kitchen like this, even though it does look like very country and like I'm not into like a country aesthetic at all. And that kind of brings me into something else having to do with like design trends is that I really think that we are about to experience a bohemian revival in interior design. And the reason I say that is because like everyone loves cottagecore so much and people are getting like really a lot more interested in sustainability. And of course, like we're dealing with like a time socially where like not socially, economically, I should say, where like, you know, there's so much economic inflation going on right now, and yet like people's salaries are not increasing. And I think that's gonna lead to a lot of people like redecorating their homes with like whatever they can thrift, whatever they can find, whatever they can make at home. And it's going to end up being like very eclectic and very, I think, earthy. And, you know, like the lightness and the airiness of modern farmhouse, I don't think is going away. And I don't think that like the, how do I say this? Like, because it's contemporary farmhouse, but like it also is kind of like there's antique aspects to it, or like old-fashioned aspects to it. Like if you look at the cabinets that I use, like that's a prime example. Those cabinets are not like super modern, right? Like a lot of people in country homes have those kinds of cabinets. But it's like the color choices and like the more modern sort of like backsplash that's in there, and the floor tiles, and sort of like the black and white and like that kind of thing. And also like the cleanness, like the lack of clutter that makes it contemporary. So I think like if we do have like a bohemian revival, it's going to be kind of similar to that, I expect. And this is like, I'm not an expert, so this is totally me just like, you know, telling you what's on my mind. I have no way of knowing this, but this is just, you know, what I think I'm expecting us to go into, like where boho is going to come back, like boho chic, but like modernized, like light and airy and not super cluttered. So I don't know, I'm kind of looking forward to that. I think that it's going to be really cool. But like I've been watching YouTube and like reading some stuff lately about how like, you know, we're not doing matching furniture anymore. People are just like, redecorating with stuff that they got, you know, at the flea market or the thrift store or consignment sale or garage sale, or that they made themselves or whatever. And it's like leading to much more eclectic sort of spaces. And I'm really looking forward to seeing how that plays out, and really like how all of this plays out as far as like architecture, design, art, fashion, just all of it. I'm really interested to see how this is going to unfold. But anyway, I think I'm almost done in the like bottom half of the house, and I'm going to start working on the upstairs soon. And then you're going to see me do like some landscaping. But here I am choosing some curtains. Curtains are always like really difficult for me because one, I feel like I have to get them placed like just right. But two, unless I want to use the tool mod, they can be very frustrating because like the curtains that you want, it seems like they're never the right shape and size for the windows that you have. And so you're always like limited to what curtains are actually going to fit. And then those curtains don't always match with like the aesthetic of your build that you're going for. One thing also that like I totally didn't comment on while I was doing it, but like I put these bookcases here, not bookcases, but like these shelving units from what expansion is that? The Glamour something, like this like Hollywood Glamour type of pack. And So I chose those shelves because they didn't have anything on them, and I don't like to put, like I wanted the shelves to be matching, but I didn't want to pick shelves that already had stuff on them, because when the shelves already have stuff on them and then you use more than one of the same shelf, then you have like identical items on each shelf that you placed. And that looks weird to me. Like I know it's The Sims, and like when other people are building, I totally don't notice it, but when I'm building it, I do. So I placed these shelves because they were the only ones that fit my aesthetic and still like didn't have that issue. And then by the time I was done placing them, I was like, I have to put something on these shelves, and I don't know what I'm gonna put, and I don't want to spend like 6 hours cluttering these shelves with items to like make it look realistic. And I also didn't want my build to be super cluttered. So instead I went through and I just like put a bunch of trophies up there. And then as I started to run out of money, I would just go downstairs and like delete a couple of trophies off the shelves so that I could have more money to be able to afford to keep building. And so now I'm working on a nursery, and the reason that there is a nursery is because when I looked at the original description of the build that I downloaded from the gallery, the person who built the original build mentioned that like the people who used to live there are moving out, and the people who are moving in are a young couple with a newborn baby, or like a newborn baby on the way. I don't remember which, but like they wanted a nursery basically. And so I was like, okay, cool. I don't think I've ever actually like built a nursery before, and I ended up having to keep this one pretty simple because I was running out of money by the time I got to it, because I just did so much on the first floor. And this is exactly what I was talking about in my previous video, that I kind of get carried away decorating, and then I get towards the end of the build and I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't afford to like do anything in here. What am I gonna do? So these bedrooms ended up being kind of like more simple, but then I also kind of think maybe that's okay, because the Sims that you have moving in may not necessarily be like exactly the same as the Sims that I envisioned living here. And I think keeping it simple in these rooms is going to like make it more easily customizable for you if you were to download it. So still no regrets. I still think the nursery is really cute, even though at the same time, like I feel like if I'd had a bigger budget, I probably would have been a little more creative in there. And same for like this bedroom too, although I am enjoying like these muted teal colors in there. I think they're very nice. Very nice, very clean, so that's good. I also like accidentally left that oil lamp on the back of the toilet, and I did not intend to do so. So I don't know if I like didn't see it when I was deleting stuff, or if I was going to decide later whether or not I wanted to keep it or I wanted to move it. My intention was to like replace that toilet, and I didn't, and now I'm thinking like, did I forget to replace the other fixtures in that bathroom? Or like, was it just the toilet? I honestly have no idea. Like I remember going in there and changing the floor and wall tiles, but I don't remember anything else. So yeah, right now you're seeing where like I only have 66 simoleons left, and I'm like trying to decorate because the room looks so empty and so barren. And I did find a way to like finally make it work, to quote Tim Gunn, but then I still have not even like touched the exterior of the build. So like there's still that fencing that I was intending to replace. I ended up just deleting it and not replacing it at all, I think. And there were a couple other things that, mostly on the exterior of this build, I had to utilize live edit objects and debug. But I did like go ahead and I think like, give some things on the exterior a fresh paint job and kind of like just lighten everything up, because these dark wood tones are just like screaming late 70s, early 80s to me. Like it's just so dark, and at the time that was contemporary. But now it is not, and it really makes the whole house feel dreary and kind of like I almost want to say like too masculine. Is that weird? But like it's just giving me like this like old man living in a craftsman home in the middle of the woods kind of vibe. And I wasn't feeling that, and I really wanted to just like lighten it up and make it look more cheery, and especially because like when you add plants, I think like having light colors in the background of the plants like really helps the colors pop. So yeah, that's what I'm doing here. And I think at the last minute I realized I didn't have a back entrance to the house, and I end up adding that too. I think that's like what I'm about to do in a few minutes here. And I think I might have even changed the roof color, maybe. I don't remember, but we're gonna see soon. So yeah, I don't think I added any kind of like activities to the exterior. I think pretty much everything that your sim can do on this lot that they couldn't do on like any other lot with nothing on it, is all on the interior of the house. But still, I love this whole floor plan and just like everything about the way that I decorated it. This is one of the builds that I'm just like absolutely the most pleased with, and this is exactly the reason that I have been trying to like branch out of my sort of like holding patterns creatively and sort of like do things that I haven't done before, like try an aesthetic that I thought I didn't like. Because like you never know, you might not like an aesthetic the way that someone else has done it, but until you try to put your own spin on it, I think you never like how can you know that you really don't like it? Maybe you just don't like the way that somebody else did it, So I'm so glad that I tried my hand at this like whole contemporary farmhouse thing before it went out of style, and I'm really looking forward to whatever is gonna be in style next. I think it's gonna be great. Oh, I feel like I just reached a stopping point for this video, and like I do still have a couple of minutes left, but I think I'm just gonna go ahead and let you go, because we are gonna start getting into like the post renovation tour here in just a couple of minutes. So yeah, I hope everyone is doing great. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already, and leave me a comment below. I'd love to hear from you. I know it's been a while. And until next time, I hope that you will be kind to yourself and be kind to others. And always remember to stay hydrated. And I'll see you next time. Bye.